Today on the Rework Factory, we pull something off we've already done and do it again. If your eyes aren't painted on, you can probably see that we've got a different booster and master cylinder on it. I wasn't happy with the proximity of the Subaru master cylinder to the turbo. It was very, very close. So I went looking, had a bit of sort of heads up from a few people on Facebook and that sort of thing about short master cylinders and boosters. One of them was a Holden Radiator or Zuzu Radiator Jackaroo sort of thing. Pretty much the same sort of setup as this. The only trouble is I couldn't find one anywhere, and I knew about these. This is a high ace booster and master. So it's like sits in the front of a van with a very short bonnet, so it's all very compact. So I can get one of them easy enough because there's heaps of them tipped over by red-headed courier drivers with that are in a hurry. Shout out to Captain Risky. So I got one of them from the local wreckers just to see whether it would work, and we came up with the goods, fiddled around with a few things. Had to cut out a bit of the inner guard here, which we'll just plate in again. That's no dramas because this booster, it's obviously a single diaphragm, but it's larger in diameter, as we talked about last week.
Just rust repairs?
Yeah, just mods. It's fine. It's nowhere near. It's not the chassis rail or anything like that. It's just the sort of inner guard panel. So it's all going to get painted anyway. So we'll just plate it in and weld it and do some magic, and you won't even know. We also had to just extend the dump pipe a bit because this is obviously a bigger diameter. So I think I added about 20 mil to this piece of pipe here. No biggie.
This actually still looks pretty close, but it's not. It's like way further back.
So the other one is about here.
Oh, even closer to the turbo, I think.
So all good. We'll do the job. We're just test fitting these Golby's beanies and it's got these little wastegate beanie things going on as well. Fancy.
And the dump pipe and stuff will be heat wrapped anyway, probably some.
Yeah, there'll be a heat shield around here as well.
Get some DCI.
You got a heat shield thing. We're not going to do it right now though, so don't get ahead of yourselves. Heaps of comments about VH40 or 44 boosters, which is a remote booster that was commonly used in the 60s.
Haven't you got one of them in the corner over there?
I have one off a Toyota Crown. So the purpose of those is when they started moving from four-wheel drum brakes to front discs on cars, much of the time it was optional. So the purpose of the VH40 or 44 booster was to boost the disc brake front, because, should I go into a thing about brakes? So drum brakes.
Don't get carried away.
The beauty of a drum brake is it's a self-energizing brake. You sort of use hydraulic pressure to activate it, and then it does its own work. So you push the shoe out, and it basically wedges itself in the drum. So you don't need masses of hydraulic pressure for that to occur. That's why they never used to have boosters on drum brake cars, because it wasn't really needed.
Self-energizing, did you say that?
It's called self-energizing. So you activate it, and then it does the work. It kind of wedges itself in there, so to speak. Disc brakes do not do that. You have to apply, however much pressure you apply to it, it's pretty much how much stopping power you're going to get out of it. So when they started having optional disc brakes on the front of cars, that's when they started using these VH44 boosters. So what they were is basically a hydraulically actuated brake booster. So instead of a rod pushing in the back of it to actuate it, hydraulic pressure from the original brake master cylinder would actuate it. So then they would split off to the rear, and it would do its normal thing on the rear brakes on the drum, no need for a booster, and then it would then actuate the front. That worked well back then. That was pretty much all they could do, because none of the firewalls, nothing was designed to have a booster on it on that age of car, kind of like this one. So the problem with using that on this particular vehicle is you need two of them, because we're going to put disc brakes on the back, and they're only a single circuit master cylinder. So you can use them, but you'll need two of them. Where you're going to put it, they're ugly. You can put it in the engine bay, but that's not cool. You can put them under the dash. Yeah, great. Someone's got to do that. That's not an easy job. You can put them in the boot. Again, that's also going to take up a lot of space and be ugly. Then you've got to run hydraulic lines to it. So you've got to go from your master cylinder to each one of those, then out of each one of those back to wherever the brakes are. So you're going to end up with a maze of pipes going everywhere to do exactly what something like this does. There's a reason why they don't use that sort of setup anymore, because they kind of suck. Yes, they were good back in the day to make the disc brakes work on the front of the car, but to me, there's a billion of these in the wrecking yard. I've got a welder, I've got steel, I've got a brain, I can use it, and we can make stuff happen.
To me, the Subaru booster was sufficient, but you just wanted to change it anyway, so...
It would have worked fine, but I wasn't happy with how close it was to the turbo. That's all. So we've changed to this. So there's heaps of variants of these. The other thing that people were talking about was hydraulic, like hydro boosters. That achieves nothing. They still take up this much space, so that master cylinder still would have been banged into the back of the turbo. Also adds the complexity of you need a hydraulic pump. So power steering pump is normally what they run off. There's hydraulic hoses everywhere, reservoirs, oil and shit all over the place. It's not applicable in this case. They're mainly used for when an engine is, say on those Mustangs, they put this big fat double overhead cam engine in them, where they would have probably designed the chassis for a Windsor or something that was tiny. So they couldn't fit the booster anymore. It's already got hydraulics all over it because it's got power steering, blah, blah, blah. So then they would put the hydraulic booster on it. It does the same thing as a vacuum booster. It's just that the vacuum booster doesn't fit. So there's no advantage of it in our application to do that.
There should be a brake booster quick tech.
The other thing you use hydraulic boosters on is big ass things like Duramax powered patrols and Cummins powered patrols and stuff like that, because you can really crank up the pressure on them and make the brakes that aren't big enough for the big ass engine work better. So again, not applicable in this case. So here we are, we've got a high ace booster, good old Toyota reliability to go with our Toyota engine. The only thing that can break now is the old Vauxhall Opel thing. So, winning. Have you got much schmutz in your hair from crawling under the dash 18 times?
Yep.
You smell like rats.
You smell like...
It's not very nice. There's a bit of mojo lost yesterday, so we bailed on filming. I don't know what Woody's was doing, but I was finishing off this, all the welding and stuff on the bracket for the booster. Pretty happy with how it turned out. It's a lot better than it was before. It's a lot better fit, even though we did have to chop a little notch rust repair out of the inner guard, fender, whatever you want to call it. So this is pretty stiff now. It's all good, fits good, ready to go. We'll fix the little hole with some sheet metal when we do the engine bay, which is going to happen pretty soon. What we're going to do now is finish off the majority of the fab work by going through with the exhaust.
We haven't even seen under the rear of the car yet, actually, I don't think.
There's a giant diff out of a Ford of some description.
Is there anything,
oil leaking
is there
out of
anything
it.
special about it?
It's a 9-inch, so
It's
that's
got this
special.
light.
Comparatively speaking to the diff that it came with, probably would have been about that big. So
Hang on, I broke the light. What'd you do here?
it's not like you to break things.
You know that thing you said last episode about me breaking shit? Warranty? There we go.
Just switch it off and on again at the wall would be sweet.
Done.
So yeah, it's got some nondescript 9-inch in it. I don't know what's in it. It's definitely welded or full spool or mini spooled or something like that, because you can't push it unless it's straight. So once we finish this exhaust fab, we're going to pull the engine and box and everything out, cross-member whole works, do the engine bay. We'll also pull a diff, strip it down, find out what's in it. If it's okay, it'll go back together. We'll put some brakes on it. If it's got like bundles of weld inside it, we might think about putting a proper sender into it instead.
Are you going over the diff or under the diff with the
We're going
exhaust?
under because you cannot go over it.
Oh yeah, it's not much room there, right?
The diff doesn't even fit there, let alone an exhaust. The previous exhaust was under, so that's fine. But it doesn't have any hang either, so there's no drama. It's got like 0 suspension travel, which is excellent for a bogan street car. Not so much for one that you want to work properly.
And fuel tank? No fuel tank.
Fuel tank is a brand new one. We're going to put an in-tank setup inside it. So that's an upcoming job. We're just waiting on some Raceworks gear to do the fuel system. Heaps of delay at the moment because of stuff going on down in Victoria that we won't bother talking about because it's depressing. But otherwise, let's do some work.
Sweet.
When we did the dump pipe, I did sort of plan the exit path out of the dump pipe. So I used a bit of stainless, but we're not making the rest of the exhaust out of stainless just for economy reasons. It's not required. It's painted. Mild steel does the job. It's a lot easier to work with. So yeah, you end up with a thing that flows just as much gas but costs less. So that's what we're doing. I'm just going to use this as the template because these have got longer returns on them. So I'm just going to cut that. We'll probably chop it here and then it'll have to have a bit of a snake through there to get past all this stuff that's in the way.
What's a steering rack?
Oh, everything.
Oh, so column,
Pretty much everything.
bell housing.
Gearboxes.
What are those things called
Outriggers.
there? Outriggers. I was going to call them chicken wings.
So the outrigger is both welded on from factory and not welded on from factory, depending on who you ask in the comment section. So there's a 50-50 answer there. Mm-hmm. So no one knows, but who cares?
You know what the comment section does like?
What?
Drumby.
Yeah, look at him though. Best. Iggy. So grand. Totally want to come back as a Ridgeback to life. Hey, buddy.
Isn't that stuff aluminized?
Yes,
I thought you don't like using aluminized pipe.
I don't.
So why?
My exhaust supplier's ears are painted on.
Oh.
It's a problem.
Although aluminized steel is the go-to for some exhaust shops, Al prefers to use mild steel black pipe, which is lighter in gauge and welds a lot better. It also leaves a better finish after being welded. A common place for an exhaust mount is off the rear of the transmission case. This is being solid mounted so that it can move as one with the engine and transmission. A piece of 3-inch pipe is being supported off the rear of the gearbox to give Al a rough idea where the tail shaft is going to be so that the exhaust system can be fabricated and not clash with the tail shaft after it's made.
Handbrake cables are a pain. Might just snip that and turn it around so it moves across here a bit further.
You said you need handbrakes.
Probably doesn't work anyways.
Actually, no, because then it'll repeat it for Bedford and then it still won't have a handbrake and 1 year later.
What's Bedford? I don't know what you're talking about. Never heard of it.
That's a bit better.
Trial and error plays a big part when it comes to building cars, and especially when it comes to fabrication.
Day after my birthday is not my birthday, Mom.
Often, there are many bends that will end up with an incorrect radius and get used on other projects.
This was going to go on Dave's car, remember? As an outlet, but we only had one of them. And I didn't want to go buy new stuff.
Hang on, is there something drawn on the inside of that?
It's like a spaceship or a plane with two humps where the people sit.
Oh yeah.
Like your Perspex bubble where the pilot sits.
That's crooked.
Last chance, Puff.
No, it's straight.
You're the one who's looking at it, so you get the blame.
Actually, it is a bit crooked, eh?
Told you last chance.
Not my car.
This is in preschool, bro. You don't get heaps of chances. Rookie error. Stupid ass handbrake. Why you got that facing up?
It's the only way to hold it to,
You can't face it up, bro. It's a down pipe.
no, that's not a downpipe. This part is.
That's the joke.
No, you could probably sell this as art to someone,
That's a
dude.
sick down pipe joke.
People would pay good money for this kind of thing.
Really?
For in their rustic garden or something, yeah.
Give it a couple of months. It probably will be rusty.
Yeah. I said rustic.
Yeah, same.
We're done. Exhausting. Exhausting work, Alan.
Says he isn't a dad. Smashes out a dad joke.
About time you pull that engine out then, eh? Yeah?
Where are we going to put all the junk?
I don't know. But then the hard thing is though too, because you want to paint it, you can't move the car, so it's going to get painted there. Mm-hmm. The last time we painted shit in the shed, there was paint everywhere.
Paint everywhere. That'll be the Mark Scott drop sheets.
Can we like drop sheet over the hoist and then have it just like one little paint booth there?
Sure.
It's not a bad idea.
I'm going to say yes and then not do it. Can I do that?
No, don't do that.
No.
No!
It really does look like shit too. When it looks good from behind, but it looks shit on the camera.
Good from behind, you say?
Yes. Now's the time to pull the engine out again, but this time we're going to go out the bottom because it looks like it's going to be easier. So it's getting more and more difficult to get the engine in and out now that more stuff's bolted onto it. So
Still got to unbolt it to get it at the bottom though.
yeah, we just unbolt the cross member. We'll take everything off it and then unbolt the cross member and drop the whole lot out because it's got to come out anyway. So that's what we're going to do. Hopefully it won't be too difficult. We might need some milk crates. They're rated.
What about that Ray Gross Mitsubishi roll cab?
Yeah, it's too much stuff in front of it. Needed a bigger shed.
Be a good test for milk crates. How much weight can they hold?
You can put that as the stupid clickbait thing on the thumbnail.
Yeah, I can do
Milk crates, how do they work? Oh my god.
Do these have like Falcon door handles
Security, mate.
that don't work?
It's probably because it's on a hoist. There you
No,
go.
got it. It's just a bit tight.
Be careful with that thing.
You know that there's going to be rats living inside this?
We'll have to powder coat over the top of that ding you put into it.
I think we should powder coat that manifold and everything else anyway. And the covers and everything.
Cover the ding up.
No, just to make it look nice. We never get stuff powder coated. I always just wrinkle black it.
It's because they don't have a powder coating factory. And I've got a Winkle black paint can.
Yeah, that's true.
Trilog TM.
You could get Danny to make a casting of that and sell it, Alan.
With our all new Trilog technology, you too can have
Isn't that what like
cheap response.
HKS did back in the day? No? So there's a few comments about the eBay radiator and intercooler that we're using on the car. No, they're not top-notch things, but they do work. And I think we paid all of, what was this worth?
About $300.
Yeah, so $300. I will leave a link in the description to one of these to check the pricing because they do vary a lot. I think I've seen them as much as $500 and then as low as like $200, and they all look like the same unit. So who knows? Everything comes from the same factory
Just
these
make sure
days.
you get your tape measure out first because it doesn't fit every car. Hey?
Yeah, that's it. This is the same thing.
For an S15 or
This
14.
is in Benny's Cresta, was it not?
Yeah, and
And did like
Volvo and-
two drag weeks.
I've fitted them to all sorts of cars. They just seem to fit. I had one in my Crown when I had a 2J in it.
For $300, you can't go wrong. That's for sure. Definitely not.
That's the theory.
What about oil drums?
Are they-
Cylinder.
Which one's stronger, oil drum or milk crate?
I'll definitely put oil drums stronger. I want to do milk crates just to test though.
I don't want to test it on someone Lee's engine falling on the ground, thanks.
What if she's both?
Can you just test it on something like
Like me standing on it.
when you go to the dump with the Challenger,
Drive over it.
put the Challenger on them when you take it to the dump and walk home?
Don't be a jerk. The Challenger is pinnacle forward drive, dude. You can go two there, dude. You want to put a bit of metal underneath on this bit here or something? On top of the two crates?
There's a big giant slab of frickin'...
Yeah, but it's going to sit in the middle of it, that's all.
What do you mean?
It's not touching the... Here, that bit just there.
So?
That's okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Get under there and unzot that gearbox.
Yeah, but if the gearbox is like this far away from the milk crate then?
Yeah. So?
All right, that's the chicken wings out. All right. Dude, this was so much easier than before. Now just go up and we should be sweet. Hang on, we're there. I just sort of saw this move a little bit. Oh, it's just like teetering, man.
It's just rocking around on those drums.
Just go for it, send it. Myth busted, bro. How much weight can a milk crate handle?
We've got like 15 of these now.
We could almost start selling them. What are you doing?
Making sure the car doesn't fall over backwards.
Oh, the old safety jack.
That's the 91st time the engine's come out, and I've got to say that's probably the easiest one.
I reckon so too.
Thanks to whoever that guy was in the comments that has Toranas that said this is the way to pull the engine out. You were right. All good.
So engine's down, exhaust is done. We are now going to paint the engine bay, and when I say we, panel beater Mark's going to come around and give us a hand. He's going to point us in the right direction as to what to do. You're probably going to drink lemon squash the whole time and do nothing.
Panel beater Mark's got a broken arm or
that's
torn
right.
in half ligament or something.
Yep.
Otherwise he'd be doing it.
I'm confident in painting. I'm not confident in painting over the 50-year-old surface rust that's been painted over 4
There's many
times.
coatings of paint on this thing. All of them cover rusted metal.
So just want to get some.
We're going to try and fix that.
Just want to get some guidance as to what is required. Fix up the stuff in the front here. There's a hole from battery tray, and there's a hole from a rust repair brake booster situation over here too.
Yeah.
So that's going to get done. That's going to happen next week. Next week or not? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe diff stuff also. But that's it for today. A huge thank you to everyone who pre-ordered a hoodie or kids shirts. Massive thanks, and that's it for now. Are we doing another pre-order soon? No plans until.
I don't know. Should we do a pre-order for? Well, no one's going to wear a hoodie in Australia for a while.
Maybe we do like a pre-order for Christmas time or something.
I don't know.
Anyway, huge thanks to everyone who supported the show. Don't forget about Patreon, ad-free videos, 48 hours in advance. Thank you for watching, as always, and we'll see you guys next time. Cheers.
Stop filming me when I'm not looking, you jerk. No wonder Rumby hates you. Truth hurts.
Hi everybody.
Do you want to do one of those, like do a thumbnail and be like this with it? No? You like that, do you?
It's pretty naff.
Yeah, well, that's good.
No, it's not.
And look, even
Naff
Rumby's in the thumbnail
Naff
too.
doesn't mean
Go.
good.
Do it, Alan.
No.
All right. I need a thumbnail with this because it's good layout of engine out again.
You sit on the back and go like this.
It's going to bloody tip over if I do that.
Oh, and it's got a milk crate under it.
Need a lasso. You got to look at the camera.
Don't you have a cowboy hat?
Yeah, I got my Cobra.
Is it in the car?
Yeah.
Go get it.
You want to push forward?
No.
Boom.
How about this? Is that alright? Need like a pipe or something. You gotta, ooh. This is gonna fall over. Can you get your dog to sit at the front again? Because that'll make the good thumbnail.
Your dog.
Rumble.
His name is Rumby, or Brian Doge, or Big Dog, or
Oi.
Bradley Doge and Cracks, or Biggie.
Biggie.
He's got a
Come
few names.
Over this side.
Big Boy,
Get him to sit while he's over there.
Brad. Hey, buddy.
And then look at the camera.
Good boy.
You're doing nothing with your face, aren't you? Give me something to work with.
I'm giving you my you're a chutch face.
The thing is, that hat actually suits you a lot.
You right?
Oh, you're going to do the, hang on. If you're going to do the kick thing, I'm going to get back.
Not this. You right?
Have I got footage of that in? This, if you look up Church in
How do you do it?
in the dictionary, that is you.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Well, hi, little lady. I got a big hat and no cattle.